fundamental analysis. So there's the economic calendar for February 15th, depending where you are in the world. So they're done. Coming up, we've got, who's that? That's 3-month quarterly consumer price index. That looks like Spain. What have we got else on the next page? Got a couple of low ones, trade balance. Italy's got the global trade balance. Retail sales for Great Britain, month on month, it's a median. What else do we have? More from the pound, so that could be interesting. A couple of medians, retail sales ex-fuel and retail sales year on year. The euro trade balance. The Canadian dollar's got the manufacturing shipments, euro month on month, that's a median. And then getting to the United States, the Empire State Manufacturing, the net long-term TIC flows, that's a median as well. What else do we have? And still more for the US dollar, industrial production, capacity utilization, and the Reuters Michigan Consumer Sentiment Index. That tends to be a little bit of a market mover as well in the past. So a couple for the CAD, Euro, and obviously the dollar. So it's a little bit on tonight, but they're all mediums, so I didn't see any highs there for tonight, coming into tomorrow morning. The US dollar index. Or if I can turn you open over here, and it's a little bit bigger, so I'll just drag it over here. So this is a daily chart for the dollar index. So sellers are controlling the moment, lower high to high, low, low. I'll just put a trend line on there at the moment. So that line's being broken. So that's being broken. Let's look at this one. Just give it a one. So that's that downtrend. Let's fix that up. So that trend's been broken, it's pushed up, came back down, tested it with a nice doji pattern, and the buyers took over, testing the 80-60 area, which was where it has been previous before to create that downtrend line as well. But sellers here at the moment, so could be having a breather, just coming back down to test around the 80 mark, or this downtrend line, good uptrend line here as well. Let's have a look at that. Yeah, it's a little bit of a gap there as well, so it might just complete this little void before prices of the US dollar index, I should say, comes back up to test around the 80-60. If it does break that, then obviously we're going to come and test the next call around the 81.24, maybe even the that's been broken. Yeah, around these levels here, around the 80.90, 81.24 area. So it's just going to feel that little void there at the moment before prices indicate if they're going to break back down to the downside and come down and test around the 79.80, or in fact go back up to test the 80.60 first off and then push on to create higher prices. So that's looks like it's going up for the moment on the dollar index. Interesting. Next is the futures index, proudly sponsored by Bloomberg. So the S&P 500. So it's just hit that supply at 1520. Sellers at the moment not really pushing back down anytime quickly. They're just hovering in that point. That's been pushed down, pushed back up, like so a bit of a doji previously. So they're just not really going up or down at the moment. So they're just hovering in that area, 1550, and also the 1520. So it's just even flowing between those 2 points at the moment, but pushing to the upside and not pushing to the downside. So obviously just a little bit of indecision on the S&P 500 index. Let's go in the market. I just want to go to Bloomberg. So I set the futures. Also want to see a variation of what happened in Australia on the exchange. So the futures, what we have in Japan, they dropped 160 today, pretty flat on the Hang Seng, so no real direction there. Europe's going to open flat to low already, so a little bit of red there. And the United States, the Dow Jones, that's already down 21 in futures, S&P down 2, and the NASDAQ down 2. So marginally to the downside or flat at best. Australia, it was flat during the morning session, picked up during lunchtime, and then during the afternoon session it came back down to close under 50, 60. So no real big gain there today on the Australian market, but pretty flat if anything there as well. So it looks like they're waiting for some guidance or some direction on which way they want to go as well. So any questions with the macroeconomists?
No questions. Alright, so what we're gonna do today is for the next 20-30 minutes you guys are gonna choose potential trades, and then after about 11:40 we're gonna discuss on basically what you guys find. Alrighty, and I'm gonna meet myself over and out.
Correction, are we trading or are we finding trades for next week?
Yeah, finding trades for potentials. Yeah. All right, most of you guys are ready. Let's start first with Anne. Pass the presentation to you whenever you're ready.
Oh, hi guys, I'm going to recommend, I'm going to analyze, I should say, dollar yen. Okay, so firstly we'll look at the weekly chart. The weekly chart is looking very weak on the dollar yen. 2 dojis in a row, and this is another doji right here. It's not ends tomorrow, so we'll see what happens tomorrow, but what we can see is sellers in control at the moment. Still higher highs, higher lows within this range of candles right here, but the sellers are in control, as we can see. So this week alone, it already created a new higher high, so nice resistance area right there. And if we also scroll in the past, so it's a very good supply area here at about the 94.46, just 50 pips of the 95 level. So they didn't want to go past this supply level right here, and they're now pushing it further lower for a correction. Okay, so if this corrects itself, we can see right here as well levels of trend lines, uptrend lines. It may just close and correct itself just to about the 90, even 90.50 area if it wants to. And if we'd like to be objective, ooh, the last low is quite far here. Okay, so if it would like to correct itself based on our fibs on the weekly chart, very far, 38% around about the 88.59, 88.60 area. But if not, we can also look at the daily chart. So that's the weekly, not over yet. However, we can see is sellers in control at the moment. On the daily chart, the daily chart also already here, sellers are in control, lower highs, lower lows within this range of candles right here. At a good level of demand though on the daily. So it may stabilize in this area before it may continue to the upside. So, but if it breaks this demand level, then there is a lot of room to go to this uptrend line right here. And if we draw our fib on the daily, this would be the, okay, cancel that. That's already fulfilled. That's also fulfilled. So we'll take this low to this high, and not far to go to the 62%. So if it breaks and hits the 62%, then we can move this to this level here, and not quite the 38% yet. So I'll leave the retracement there. So if it fulfills that, there could be more room to go to the downside. Or if not, if it stabilizes within this demand level, then we can also draw our retracement there. So there's there could be some form of retracement to the 50%, 93.36, even the 62%, much better price to go in short at this level if it doesn't want to go further to the upside. So it's too late to go short now. I'll wait for the retracement to the upside or the correction to the upside before then I would enter my short position there. With regards to M2 and M3, just looking at the weekly, it's very overbought, but there's no setup on the method 2 there. Method 3, nice gap between the 8 and the 10, so it has potential to correct itself to close that gap to about the 90, even lower if it wants to. But that's a potential a nice retracement there on the weekly. On the daily M2, I'll just go through that. M2 daily, so it's, there's no setup, it's heading towards the overbought, and with our M3 on the daily. Okay, so at the close of today, second candle below the 8 and the 10, so there's actually an entry potential based on M3 to go short. Any questions with the dollar yen?
No questions. Okay. Who in this room is bearish with the dollar against the yen?
I am bearish.
Yep. Know that. So basically, we're gonna trying to find out who is with you. All right, JP, what's your view?
I'm just opening up the dollar yen. It's at a nice level of demand. It is an uptrend. It has retraced. Just looking at the daily. I think it's got a little bit more room to move to the downside.
Okay, Phil?
I'll be going short because the week has got more room to drop. The daily's making lower lows, lower highs. The 4 hourly continue to go down, and the 1 hourly sells in control of a lower high, which is a nice waterfall pattern.
What's a waterfall pattern?
Swings within swings. If I was trading this, well, as Anne pointed out, the M3, so it is an uptrend, hasn't broken that low yet, but it is on the 4 hour, it's a level of demand. And making, sellers is definitely pushing down, but on the 1 hour, 4 hours below the 8 and the 10, the 1 hour, sellers are in control there. Nice entry to go short on the retracement. Bang. So still in the downtrend on the smaller time frame with the bigger swing, smash the bigger trend. This is what waterfall.
Interesting. Okay, so everybody's short.
What are you, Renato?
I'm the opposite with all three of you.
Why?
Yeah, that's what we need to really look into it.
Well, based on a daily, I'm going to go long, but based on the weekly, it's a short.
Why is it a short based on the weekly?
Simply because of the sellers are in control with the two gravestone dojis in a row.
I've got another day before it turns.
So next week there could be some correction to the upside, and then it may reverse down for that correction to about the 90, even the 89 level. So I'm playing the correction to go long next week, and then once I see that it's not surpassing the resistance or the support level, the highest one, which is 94.46, then it's a short.
If it breaks that 92, quite easy to go back down to the 61.8% of 90.49.
What if the past 2 weeks has already been the correction itself?
If on the daily, if we made a high or low, I'll be going long, but at the moment it hasn't.
Where's the level at the moment, based on the daily?
Oh, you guys do a little bit different.
It's a level of demand.
Well, do we really need to look at the 4 hours at this particular case? Because we need some evidence on why do you guys have to short?
It's a method 3 if you want to trade that. It's making lower lows and lower highs.
What do you mean by a method 3 to go short
Well,
with method 3?
Yeah, you could, tomorrow morning at the close you could go short method 3. But overall it's still an uptrend.
So what's happening? What's happening with the lows?
What are we talking about? The candles or the swings? These candles are low. That's low.
Look at your weekly. Don't bother looking at your daily, right? Because at the daily it's already 1, 2, 3, 4 in a row. Yes, it dropped 4 in a row. And look at the low on today's low, the current low at the moment.
Yeah, it needs to break this, needs to break that for it to come down to here. It's high at the moment.
Last week formed a doji, right? If it's really that strong in order to drop, the confirmation should have already been confirmed this week, halfway of the blue bar. So it doesn't want to. So something is, something's missing.
Within the Bank of Japan, they had an announcement. They got an announcement this weekend.
I don't know. I don't know what will be, but there's something going on, right? So if you're gonna short that at the moment, what are really the chances that you're gonna win?
It's trading against the trend.
It's not. It's just shorting a level of demand.
And what makes it different compared to the euro yen that we did pretty much a couple of weeks ago? Or the pound yen even for that matter, right?
Their weekly had a lower high.
So what I'm trying to basically say is it's still an uptrend. The bulls are just too strong. Even though we have 2 gravestone dojis in a row. Yes, they tested the upside, but no one's willing to push it down. They're retesting those levels to the upside based on price. Now the question is, what if those are already the correction part, and on the daily the correction is already basically shown? Do you believe that the price can drop all the way down to 91.24?
Not today, it wouldn't. Probably next week, or yeah, maybe next week. Don't know.
Okay, so what would be the plan then? Like, when do you plan to short this?
Okay, as I mentioned before, my plan is, because it's too, sellers are in control. It's too, it's too far from the supply area now. If you short that, you're chasing the market, and it's at level of demand, very good level of demand based on the daily. So I would wait for the correction, and if it's I can trade it for a correction to the upside, and then if it doesn't break the supply level or the resistance level, which is at 94.46 area, then short it.
So isn't it better to say then, better to go long rather than to short? Because if you're 92.43 all the way to 94, that's 60 pips to the upside, and you're with the trend.
Yeah, but I won't go long yet at the moment. Still sellers in control.
But it's in a level demand from what everybody's stating.
Yeah, it is at a level of demand, but sellers are in control. Lower lows, lower highs. I would wait for buyers to come in to go long, because it may still drop to about the 92, which is the 62 levels, now 91 89, so that's the best area to go long. Okay, do a test, put a tester now, small 1% to go long, and then if it drops with a stop of about that last low, where the low of the fib is, it's quite far, as my stop.
So the whole point of the story, why I'm saying this is that you don't go against the trend, right? Like we all can clearly see that it is an uptrend, so it is a better probability of going long, even if you put your stop at say 91.89 all the way down to probably 91. The odds and probability they won't take you is highly probable, unless there's a really big news that this is going to tank all the way down to 90. So 1, 2, 3, 4 days in a row that it's been tanking. Now the low doesn't even want to pass the previous low, and hence even if it's a sellers are in control at the moment, that's a really good demand level. So if you go to now shorter time frame, 4-hour and 1-hour chart, you'll see there that it's just hovering around that area. Now, and if you can see that, the current low doesn't want to pass the last low. And if you want to put your stop at 91.94 minus the spread, odds and probability they won't take you is highly probable.
Okay, I will go in then. I'll test it.
So, wouldn't that be a better plan rather than shorting it? Pretty much a plan of shorting it. Okay, JP, what do you think? So, what do you think as well why do you want to short this pair?
No, I didn't say I want to short it. I said it was bearish. Like I could just see a little bit more gap down to that 92. See that uptrend line that Phil has? So it's just a little bit more to close that void, which is also the next little demand level, or a range of demand levels. So it's only got about 43 pips left in it to touch that uptrend line to go long.
Okay. Approximately, pretty much, it goes around that area.
Yep.
Based on the daily, okay, on the 4-hourly. So now my question too is, what if it doesn't want to go to those levels too? Four hours is oversold, but doesn't mean anything. Yeah, the reason I'm asking is I need more I need more solid stuff on why really you guys want to short. All right. Okay, I guess that is on that one. Let's move on. All right. Well, I got you, JP. Your turn.
I think I'm a little bit too afraid to be honest. I'm doing the CAD. So this is the weekly chart. We've got the uptrend and the downtrend lines here currently. So this is the weekly chart. This is the current weekly bar. So sellers, however, it did make a higher high and a higher low than the previous week, but didn't push on to break the previous high set in the last month or so. So over the last couple of weeks, we've had a big push up by the buyers. Came back down as a retracement. The bulls took over the last 2 weeks, and then the sellers just came and drove prices back down. And it's just sitting on this uptrend line, or close enough. So it's 1073, 1007, so about 70 pips odd, just to close that little bit of a void there currently. So, but in the near term, since September 2012, it's been an uptrend, higher highs, higher lows. So looking for the CAD to break to the upside, to push on to test these highs that it set very recently, 101, and then sometime touch this downtrend line as well around the 102 area. Just put a Fibonacci there as well. See that, so the prime price is just sitting on that 50% in the below area as well. It came down to set it, it's just hovering directly on that 50% as well as a form of retracement. On the daily chart, so we can see still is in control. It is a high-low, low-high at the moment, but very, very tight price, indecision. Buyers and sellers fighting it out. I'll just show you an uptrend line here as well. So it's high highs, high lows. It retested this uptrend line, pushed up. That's that failure that took out the highs previously on the weekly chart, and it's just drifted back lower, running out of steam, just resting on this level of demand here at 101, and also that secondary uptrend line, tertiary uptrend line, 1, 2, 3. And looking to push onto the upside to retest those highs that set in the previous weeks as well. So I'll just put that Fibonacci here as well. So there it is, just hovering around the 50% as a form of retracement. Big push up by the buyers, drifting very, very slowly, running out of steam, and looking to continue onto the upside to create a higher high in the impending formation of the underlying current trend. Look at time frames. So there we are now. So nice level of demand. Bulls are coming in at the moment. So just stabilising on the 50%. A big push up. Came back down, just drifted lower, and it's just hovering that uptrend line here as well. So not long to go for it makes this uptrend line makes the decision either to break more to the downside, to test the 99, or in fact continue on to the upside in line with the buying strength previously with higher highs and higher lows. On the 1 hour chart, nice base formation there, a couple of dojis in a row, buyers took it up, just sellers here at the moment, but it's just hovering over, it has been over the last number of hours, just hovering around that 38-50% level. So looking for some direction. I know there's a CAD report coming tonight, which could signify a direction to go either to the upside or to the downside, but clearly it's been a big push up, came back down and just stabilise as a form of correction, and looking for the CAD to go back to the upside to test new highs. I'll just look at no M2s or 3s, just bear with me. So weekly chart. So no M2, it's currently M3 to the upside. Nice entry a couple of weeks ago, pushed up, came back down, not as close as it was a couple of weeks ago, but still M3 to the upside. On the daily chart, no M2, but also M3 to the upside, so big push up, came back down, nice entry here as well currently, but it all depends on how that candle finishes as well. If it finishes above the 8 and the 10, so that's still a continuation of the M3 a couple of weeks ago, or a re-entry closer to the 8 and the 10. So looking to go along on the CAD. Any questions, please?
So what's the plan? What do you want to do with it? You going to go long or short?
Me personally, go long.
Okie dokie. When?
Well, I can't see a reason to go now, so I'll just go on the daily chart. It's at the 50%, it's sitting on the uptrend line there. So it's 106, stop the previous low, 109.35, so that's 70 odd pips. To make 80 pips, so that's a 1-to-1 at the first port of call, and leave one to ride to test somewhere sometimes downtrend. So I can't see any reason why not to get in there.
Okay, so if your analysis with this is basically to go long, what's the difference between this and the dollar-yen?
Honestly, for what my opinion is, I just can I bring both of them up? Just bear with me for 1 second. So that's $1 per million. I've just see how the candle's a bit stronger, a little bit bigger, and it doesn't seem to diminishing the strength. When I look at the CAD, see how it's getting smaller, getting tighter, higher low here, doji, on an uptrend line. But with the dollar yen, I don't see that just yet. So it's lower lows, lower highs. The candle's a little bit bigger. It looks like the selling strength is a little bit stronger. So these are the things that I'm seeing. Let me just tidy that up.
Then let's compare March. Sorry, the 3rd of the 1st of 2013. They're strong.
3rd of the 3rd.
The 3rd of the 1st. Fork past your. Keep going. 2 more.
Yeah. 3rd of the 1st.
2 more to your right.
This one.
Yes, that's strong. The other one is strong.
Yep.
So those 2 bars are strong, and then all of a sudden there's a big push. So 2 big bars in a row.
Hang on. I'm just going to play devil's advocate. So we've got came back down strongly, pushed up by the buyers, big push, took it out by the sellers again. So was this big push by the sellers the fake out, or was this the fake out and now the sellers are continue on back down? Whereas here, big push down and the buyers took over. 2 corrections, push up. 3 correction with a doji, which is a little bit different, push up by the buyers.
So what's the difference between them 3 then? 1, 2, 3, 4, and there's the 5th one. And then if you go to your weekly, it's still higher highs on the ranges of the highs and the lows. And if you look on the weekly, 2 tight mini dojis. So if it's really that strong, the price should be at least, that would be at least an evening star. Now if you go to if you minimize that just to see where the next strong supply level is going to be, where would that be?
94, 92. Call it 94, 77.
Mm-hmm. So now if I take Anne's argument about not yet, but maybe perhaps it can continue to go further, and if it doesn't want to touch the high of this week, then that is the time to short. So therefore, my argument now is, why short it if you can go long then to go to close to 94 something, and the tide is with you. Right?
Just
then wouldn't it be a much better deal in terms of probability to ride all the way up as a form of a, I don't know, either correction or continuation of the trend? And if the price doesn't want to go and surpass within the supply level, then bingo, that's where it's time for shorting.
yes, shorting at a level of demand. Correct. made this mistake recently with euro yen.
Pound yen, euro yen.
Pound yen, yeah. Yep.
In other words, there's no difference between that pattern or within the trend compared to your dollar CAD. But the thing is, why are you so convinced on the dollar CAD that it's going to go up and it's also a downtrend from that perspective? So those are the two arguments between the dollar, the difference between the dollar CAD and the dollar yen. Okay, cool. Next, Phil Star. Let's see what you've got. Thanks, JP.
No, thank you.
I actually I was in the same opinion with Anne on the dollar yen. But my intention was a little bit different. I believe that the US yen, the dollar yen had another day in it. Still got a bit more room to drop, probably bounced around the 92. And my intention was to day trade it. As happy to 4 hour at the level of demand, daily level of demand, but what I seen on the 1 hourly was that candle there. So downtrend, it needs to equalise, no doubt there on the demand area, but you know, I'll probably make another 40, 50 pips out of it to go short. It's not a perfect setup for me, but that's quite clearly a downtrend continuation to go down. If it doesn't want to, well, so be it, but the daily candles are bearish. 4 hours at demand level, so I'm only going to make 50 pips, or alternatively it's an M3 to go short on the daily chart, which hence we have to wait for tomorrow to go short. That was it. But something like better than that is actually the pound yen. Reason being to go long. In my opinion, it's a better setup for me. Quite clearly an uptrend on the weekly, touching the 8 and the 10. Quite clearly on the level of demand on the daily. And to go in for confirmation, got a doji there at the moment. I liken this because I've got a high, low, at a level of demand, daily level of demand. Trend on the daily is an uptrend. Weekly is touching the 8 and the 10. For me, this would be a trade to go long. Where to put my stop would be around there, target there maybe, and target 2 there, then target 3 to continue to the upside. Yeah, that's the wait for this candle to finish for my confirmation.
Okay, feedback on this one. What do you guys think?
Yeah, it kind of looks quite good actually, from what I'm seeing. The pound yen, Phil, not the dollar yen, the pound yen I'm talking about, sorry.
The only problem is we've got an announcement on the pound in 2 hours' time.
So do you trade before announcement, or would you trade after it, or during it?
Well, it's risk management, isn't it?
But the price might be already factored in.
You've got a lower high, a lower low.
Mm-hmm.
Days at a demand, days at an uptrend.
Yep.
Quite clearly a strong level of demand.
But the weekly's on the 8 and the 10, so it could have just retraced.
There. And I reckon institutions are going in there and buying as we speak before the announcement by just looking at price action. I like that. That's what's got my eye. and
Yeah,
it
but
was
the days
I
are
don't
over,
know
yeah.
what time. Yeah, high low on the 4 hourly. What's my risk? Say 60 pips to make 300.
Alright, would this be a day trade or a swing trade? What would that be?
Right.
How could it be a swing trade?
In 4 hour.
Could be a swing trade if it's pretty much an overnight, or it's an overnight, right?
He told me to find a way to understand it. I found a way to understand it. I use the 4 hourly demand for my daily to go long in the trend. That there, in my opinion, is quite clearly an uptrend. Amount of times I've been stuck on that just by experience, and then that just takes off. So it sticks me 8 and 10. Daily's at a level of demand quite clearly, and I've got a nice it's still current obviously, but they're very strong, so I'm a bit probability might come down to here. That's why I'll be waiting for smaller time frame, just for a little bit of clarification, that's all. I mean, we could actually wait for tomorrow morning to go long on this, because it is an uptrend overall.
Yeah, okay, I'm not disputing anything on what you're saying, Phil. Okay, so let's do this. Get rid of all your indicators for now. Everybody, like basically, including Anne, including JP. Right, because this is important, right? Because once again, what's the difference between this, the dollar yen, the dollar CAD? All right, now let's talk about looking at the weekly. What's the difference between the dollar yen and the pound yen? Well, the dollar yen, there are two dojis where it's a higher high, higher low. This one, on the other hand, is a different ball game. You have a lower low, lower high, a clear confirmation of that doji that doesn't want to go and pursue above it, where now sellers are basically fighting over it, and hence currently sellers are currently in control. Okay, now if we're just looking into that, it's an uptrend. Let's draw our potential trends, please, just to have a quick look. Primary, secondary, tertiary, fourth, fifth, or whatnot. Okay. So, great. We'll look into that. We're looking into that. Nice. One more. Squeezing all the way up to the upside. Bingo. Okay, now the low is just hitting through there. So it is currently emptied that space between the last or the closing price and the current closing price. So last week's closing price and today's closing price, right? At the moment, right at this moment. Right. Now next week will be definitely going to be a very tough one for the pound against the yen. If we're just looking at this right now, what are the odds and probability that this is going to drop from what we can just see at the moment objectively without putting your beliefs and so forth?
The bearish candle, low, high, low, low. Pretty good.
Okay, let's I don't want to hear pretty good, it's good. Okay, from now on, when you guys gonna answer out of 100%, what would be that number? 80, 90, 75? Because this is what.
Like that, Renate, I've always got taken out. So.
Well, the reason why I need a specified number because this is the measurement of the probability. Trading is about probabilities. Trading is not about patterns. Trading is not about beliefs. Trading is about probabilities, whether we like it or not. Right? It's speculation, speculating on what the future may bring based on probabilities. Right. Give me a number.
100%.
100%. JP.
Yeah, 100%.
And
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, so 100%, but does the market go automatically in straight line? At the moment,
No.
if you put a ruler right now, right, if you put a ruler from the high and the low of the current bar, how many pips did it drop?
441.
441 for 1 week. 441. So in 2 weeks, that gave it basically just only in one, right? 1 week, 441. What are the odds that it has to retrace a little bit before it can continue to drop?
Highly probable.
Highly probable. What would that be? What would that probability be? Let's start from you, JP, since you answered first.
It's an 80% chance that it will retrace.
80% chance. Okay. Phil?
Has to retrace.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Give me a
100%.
number. 100%. And?
Yeah, 100%.
Sweet. All right. Let's go to the daily chart, please. All right. We see this. There's a doji in a level of demand currently. And now we're going to take Phil's argument that he's going to go long. Go to the 4-hourly chart, please. Based from what we saw earlier, it was a nice, blue bar, bullish bar. We have a harami in terms of the high and the lows. We have a higher low and a lower high. All right, now my next question is, if you're going to go long with this trade, up to which price are you going to put your target in?
Okay.
Okay, let's maximize that screen, please. JP, is Phil's fibs correct or not?
No, unfortunately.
Sorry, Anne, how about you? What do you think?
No, incorrect.
Alrighty. So let's make this objective. Where is the last higher high, please, of the move? Awesome. So 144.23. If it breaks 144.23 or even 144.49, then add another fib, please. Don't delete that on what you currently do have, please, Phil. Just add another one. Okay, and then add another one. Not quite. Not yet, right? Because there's still another higher high. Cool. And then another one, which is now the major last. Okay, so we have a confluence of Fibonacci's that's currently happening right there. It's an if and then statement. It has to break 143.97, which is a legitimate supply level based on a 4-hour chart, and we can see that on the somewhere on the 29th of the 1st and the 1st of the 2nd, right? So pretty much that areas. There's nothing in between, so 38.2, 144.44, 144.36, pretty much nothing really. The next one will be 144.74, 144.85, and 144.95 within those ranges, which is also a legitimate supply level based on the lows of those long wicks. And the major one is around the 61.8 and the big 50% right there, 145.26, 145.51. Alright, so how many days, how many hours do you think that price can go towards the upside?
3-4 candles.
3-4 candles. Notice one bar. How many, if you look at ruler, based on one bar that is the most volatile or the biggest bar of them all, how many pips is that? If you could just please put a ruler. That's 60. How about the blue bars? Look at the blue bars. Okay, the big one right there, how many pips is that? About 108, 123, 125 in one setting. That's 4 hours. How about the one in the past, after the consolidation, all of a sudden, boom, there's a big spike right there, right on the 1st of the 2nd.
This one?
Yes, please. About 110, approximately 110, 143.56 plus about 100, 144.56, 144.49. So approximately about the 38.2%, around that area. 38.2, about 144.49, all the way to 144.74, which makes sense, around the 38.2 of the big move to the upside. So you can take one day, right? You can take 1 bar, 2 bars, or 3 bars. So 4 times 3, that's 12 hours. It could happen pretty much overnight, or pretty much while you're sleeping or while I'm sleeping, until we meet in the next 12 hours. So will that be considered a swing trade or a day trade? If we're
4-hour chart.
But it's still within the day, right? We're getting into the day, so I mean the 4-hourly chart to buy in. So if it's about 100, 150 pips for 1 bar, it might take 2 bars. That's 8 hours only. So it's within the 8-hour period. We have another 12 hours before the bar of the daily will finish. So is it a swing trade or a day trade?
It's a 4-hour chart, so it's a day trade.
Okay, so it's a day trade. It can't be a swing trade. It can be a swing trade if the bars are not going to be that volatile. It will take, those mini bars will take time to get to that 144.50 or where we want it to be at. It could be from a day trade environment all the way to a short-term swing trade. Hence, looking also now on the daily chart, well, because of that doji, if you look at this, just use the same one, yes. Now we will be able to detect there that if the price will be a doji tomorrow all the way to almost close to the opening price, which is approximately about 144, then the odds and probability that this is going to reverse to the upside on Sunday is highly probable. Notice this is also the same pattern with the dollar yen based on the daily chart. 1, 2, 3, 4 in a row dropping, but it has a probability that it can reverse to go to the upside. And now the plan is that provided that if the price doesn't want to go beyond 147.87, this is where you're going to short, because the weekly chart states a really strong bearish bar. Right? We are currently in a level of demand. It's a little bit tough to short in the demand on an uptrend. We can't do that as yet. Better price of selling if it comes back on a correction, and if the price doesn't want to go beyond the highest price at 147.87, then we're going to go short. So is there a difference between the pound yen and the dollar yen? So why do you want to go along with the pound yen and you don't want to go along with the dollar yen? So I need to know that logic. Let's
I
start
like the
from you.
setup.
Well, you also have a good setup for the dollar yen.
I'm more comfortable with this.
There's no difference. In actual fact, probably the dollar yen has a better setup than this. Maybe. It could be.
I mean, for me, it stands out much clearly for me. Quite clearly an uptrend, quite clearly a level of demand,
Yes.
quite clearly a doji, quite in a 4-hour chart. At a demand level, a high and low, that'll be going long. And as you pointed out, if it doesn't break that and equalises, then no intention will be to go short. I totally agree with you that the weekly has a bearish pattern, a confirmation bearish pattern. So effectively, we're trading against the price action on the weekly. Yep, no issue with that. So therefore, it's a day trade. But there would be a continuation to the downside or a swing trade.
So why can't you have the same logic then with the dollar yen? Check it out. Yeah. Is it because you don't like it because of that? But if it's because of now your personal perception and belief, just because you don't like it. But if you really look into the technical analysis point of view, it is the same setup, whether we like it or not. The market is telling you it's an uptrend level of demand. That is what method 1 is all about. You want to know what method 1 is? That is method 1. Like your pound yen. It's in a level of demand in an uptrend. The odds and probability for you to win, to go long on the level of demand in an uptrend is highly probable.
I prefer the pound yen because it's more clearly to me.
You're not listening, Phil. Because what I'm saying is that I know, but if you want to be a trader, don't base it on your own opinion. Base it on what the market is telling you. There's a big difference. Because if you're basing your opinion
on here, looking at the daily alone, that's quite clearly an uptrend. But I don't have a doji. It's a bigger doji.
So what? Whether if it's a doji. See, that is the difference now where you really want to learn a doji is a price pattern, right? If you want to know about price action, where is the price? Regardless whether it will be a doji or a bearish bar, as long as the level of demand, it is in a level demand. So you're going to tell me as well, based on that 7th of the 1st, January 7th, pretty much around there, I totally guarantee you're going to say to me, I don't feel comfortable in that one because it's not a doji. It is a bearish bar, and the odds and probability that it's going to drop is highly probable. And then you're going to short that at a level of demand, and you're going to get stopped out, and you're going to say, well, it's bearish. Who cares whether it's bearish? The price is at a demand in an uptrend. So what I'm trying to say here is the distinction between a price pattern and price alone based on supply and demand. So a chart is a chart. Price is price. The market doesn't care about your opinion, doesn't care about my opinion, doesn't care whether the richest man in the whole world or even the smartest man in the whole world. The market is always going to be right. It will dictate on whatever it will tell you. It's just a matter of you trying to fully understand based on what the market is telling us. Right? So There's no difference between the dollar yen, the pound yen, or the dollar CAD, the euro dollar, whatever currency pair you want to put in there, Apple, Google, Baidu, you put ANZ, CBA, whatever chart, real estate, a chart is a chart. The question is, how can you read it properly? That is the question.
Yeah, but here we go again. Looking at uptrend, level supply, lower high, sell. Because you're trying to get the trend, no problem. Probability, has probability to continue to drop. What there is that?
Well, you're not listening, Phil. I told you, the market doesn't care about what you think. It's based on price. Where is the current price? It's in the level of demand. If it's in the level of demand in an uptrend, it doesn't matter whether the bar is very, 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 very big. If they decide that it's going to go up, it's going to go up because it's in the level of demand. You just have to accept it. That's the way it is. They don't care about your opinion. They don't care about the price action or the price pattern that you want to distinguish. Whether if it's a doji or a bullish engulfing or an evening star or morning star for that matter. So, yeah. I believe definitely you guys have more training to do, more practice, to read. Your homework, definitely, you need to get rid of all your indicators. Like I said, they have specific job based on that. If you want to do method 3, then method 3 without thinking. But if you really just want to look at price itself, then you need to look at just pure charting alone based on what you read on what the market is telling you. Yes, it is a challenge, it will take time, but it's just the way how you can be a better trader, to be honest. It is a challenge because we only see a two-dimensional chart. We can't see supply and demand in its purest form where we can see who's really buying, who's selling. Questions based on tonight's session?
No questions. But you're right. Need a little bit of fine tuning.
No questions.
Okay, no questions. We'll see. Before we go, there's always one more. When we will try looking for trades, did you look for a trade tonight as well? Is this something that you've seen?
What I've seen is basically what we're currently looking at the moment, right? With the dollar yen, the pound yen, euro yen. So those are the ones we're looking at, or I'm currently looking at. I'm still short the euro dollar. And the euro dollar, I think, is just tanking. So let's have a look. Yeah, 133 back to 133.29. All right, so yeah, if you put a euro, here's another example. Based on the euro dollar, within that doji, it's in a downtrend, and like I said, even it's an overall uptrend, but there's still some room that it may drop to 133, creating lower lows, lower highs, and it just has to, based on that doji, it's not strong enough in order for the price to go up. So they're double checking that. Now if the current low doesn't want to supersede yesterday's low, then it's time to buy once again because it's an uptrend, overall uptrend. Right, so that's what I'm currently looking at. So there's a short-term downtrend in a longer-term uptrend. Yes.
I mean, you look at that, and that's similar to what was like the other day. Has a high probability to drop, but because it's an uptrend, it hits the 8 and the 10, and then continues to the upside.
I don't see an 8 or 10 at the moment, right? I'm going short for, like I said earlier, that it can go to all the way to 133. That is my target point. Can it go to 133? It could, provided that the price will break the low of yesterday. But if the low of yesterday doesn't want to break, then I'm out. Then I'm going to go long, and the reason for it is because it's a good level of demand in an uptrend. the correction from the higher high from the 137 all the way to 133, which is a 400 pip drop, is too good. That is it. There's no more, perhaps. But if you break 133, then that baby is going to tank all the way to 132, probably even to 131. But based on the weekly is just hovering and giving that big of a space all the way, probably didn't say right there, probably 132.50 even. So it can go to those levels. But the correction is currently happening in a short-term period, 2 weeks, probably one more week. We're halfway maybe next week, who knows, right? And it can continue to go to the upside because that correction is done. It's getting to its point where it would gas out for the past pretty much, 2 weeks. So, but we'll see based on what's going to happen. Same, with the Aussie USD. I'm short the Aussie USD. As long as it doesn't want to surpass that trend. If it's going to break the trend, then I'll change my position. Other than that, it is on a downtrend, a short-term downtrend, that the odds and probability it may drop is also highly probable. Alright, so yeah, practice. That guys, we'll see you then tomorrow. Adios.
Yeah.
Okay, see you tomorrow. Bye.